I said, hey, you're already on probation in 55th. My order is for you to comply there. That's all I did. The reason why she was before the court, as you indicated, was because of her own actions. But in this particular case, she originally was charged with a felony or two felonies and the child abuse.
She was convicted of child abuse. She was already on probation. The judge gave her the easiest possible deal. Just comply with probation. That's it. Instead, she vanished for over 60 days. No calls, no contact, gone. Now she's back in court, with a list of excuses. And this judge, he's already heard enough. Watch what happens when the system finally stops being patient.
This is the state of Michigan versus Samantha Decker and file number 24-01888.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Dan Smith appearing on behalf of the people.
Assistant Public Defender Joseph Hardy appearing on behalf of Ms. Samantha Decker, who is standing here to my right.
Okay, Ms. Decker. Here for a probation violation for absconding from probation since 2024. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
My understanding is that she does not wish to have a hearing on the allegation that she absconded. She wants to plead.
That's correct.
We can find the violation. Let's see. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give us the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Okay, so I have here allegation that you failed to comply with the 55th District Court probation per an email or information provided from your probation officer. You must have been on probation through this court to comply with 55th. Is that correct? So you failed to make contact with your officer for probation for at least 60 days and was deemed absconded. You understand your right to have a contested hearing?
Yes.
You want to waive that right? Anyone threatening you to plead guilty? Any promises to get you to plead guilty? As to the violation that I just read, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Factual basis, please.
All right. Samantha Decker, is it true that you were placed on probation for a conviction of child abuse in the 4th degree with this court?
Yes.
Is it true that as of February 11th, 2025, the date of this violation, that you had not made contact with your probation officer for more than 60 days?
Correct.
Concludes.
Any other questions from the prosecution?
I'm not from the people, Your Honor.
Are you plea to be freely and voluntarily made or accept your plea with probation recommendation? Is to impose jail time and terminate probation status. A defendant has not reported since November 2024. She is also absconded from probation at 55th. I have attempted to make contact several times via email and phone with no success to terminate unsuccessfully. You can make allocation.
Thank you, Your Honor. One, I'd like to note that I believe she was arraigned on this on the 30th of last month. So I do believe she has around 22 or 23 days of jail credit at this time. Ever since being on probation, gather was because of her choices, but the probation terms did prevent her from returning home. She was made functionally homeless. Being homeless definitely threw a wrench into things like finding a job and being able to abide by some of the other probation requirements. However, when she was taken into custody at Isabella County, she informed me that she was taking parenting classes, working towards getting her GED, and is also attending, I believe what she described as counseling in order to figure out how to avoid being unhoused in the future. She's informed me that she has been dealing with trauma. She hasn't been formally diagnosed with PTSD, but she has let me know that her parents themselves were very abusive as well. Her support system is currently at the home where she cannot return to. She has told me as much that she doesn't believe that she is a good candidate for probation and would like this probation terminated. All I can ask is this court take some of these extenuating circumstances into account. We would ask that she be awarded her jail credit, and beyond that, we would defer to the judgment of the court as to which sides are.
Does your client want to make a statement?
No, thank you.
She's in jail for how long?
Okay. Okay, yeah, she was in custody for 54 days with Isabella County, and her out date is already lapsed on that. So, to my knowledge, the only thing that is currently held her in custody is this violation in this county.
I have no reason to grant her leniency. I gave her leniency when I sentenced her. I didn't give her anything. I said, hey, you're already on probation in 55th. My order is for you to comply there. That's all I did. The reason why she was before the court, as you indicated, was because of her own actions. But in this particular case, she originally was charged with a felony or 2 felonies and the child abuse fourth. And it got pled down to the child abuse fourth. And at the end of the day, the victim is the child. It's not Miss Decker. And so those are the only extenuating circumstances I need to take into consideration, is that there was a victim who was a child. She had multiple matters pending. She was already on probation in another county. Not another county, in this county. It should be noted she's being held in another county right now. She's being held by Isabella County, as I understand it. Or you were just sentenced in Isabella County for something? That's the note in the file. Due to sentencing in Isabella County, they reset her matter here. So you were in what county? You've been in Ingham County all this time?
No, I was in Isabella.
For what?
Domestic violence.
Were you sentenced on that?
Yes.
So why would I just ask you when you're in Isabella County? You told me no, like you didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, so you were sentenced to what in Isabella County?
Domestic violence.
No, what's the sentence?
Oh, I was sentenced to time served and non-reporting probation.
And then 55th, what were you sentenced to?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And so everyone's just slapping her on the wrist for not doing what she was supposed to do. You're taking classes while you're in custody, you said? Which classes are these?
I was taking care, trying to get into the parenting classes in Ingham County currently, and while I was in Isabella County, I was taking GED and I was also receiving counseling.
Okay, so you were not working prior to being put into custody?
I was having a hard time with that, and so then I was homeless.
You was having a hard time finding employment?
Yes, I was homeless from the beginning of 2020.
I can understand that you were homeless, but I'm trying to understand why you weren't employed.
I didn't have a job previously, and because I was homeless, I had a hard time providing an address to an employer to maintain. So, or gain.
Okay, and so you previously, it says, was that you're a caretaker, you're not doing that anymore.
I was taking care of my mom. But being homeless, I can take care of her.
Okay, and so where were you living prior to this?
I was living at home at 1913 Moffett with my mom and my children.
Okay, got it. And that's where the child, the protected party is.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't go home, is because the protected party is there. Got it. What's your plan?
I have been trying to find a shelter to gain employment to be able to take care of such matters.
Since 2024?
Yeah.
You've been still working on this plan to find an address to have mail sent to so you can work? Mhm. So the only person you have, you're saying, is your mother?
My mother and my husband.
Okay. And neither of these people, other than your mother, because I think the child is there, is that what's going on?
My mother no longer lives at that address, but she is in a home
Okay,
that I
And-
can't take care of her anymore.
okay. And so, and then you must be estranged from your husband, is that what's going on?
I haven't spoken to my husband in probably 6 months.
Okay, so, so if you, even if you are released, you have no place to go, and then you're saying you don't have an address to send mail, which is why you're not employed. You're gonna have to figure something out. The cycle is that you have to be employed in order to pay rent. And so, I know many of the local shelters will allow you to use the address to have your mail sent there. That's been the status. You could have been having mail sent there if the goal was to get a job.
I was unaware of that. I was calling for housing. And I was told I was on many wait lists all the way up until I was incarcerated.
I'm not talking about you calling for housing. You said the reason why you weren't working is because you didn't have an address to put on applications.
It's hard to work.
And what I'm saying is that the shelters, the local shelters here, many of them, not all, will allow you to use that address for your mail.
Okay.
So that's not an excuse for why you're not working now, okay? You need to do something about that. You're sentenced to 75 days Ingham County Jail credit for time served. And there will be no GPS tied to release. You'll continue your programming for parenting classes while you're in custody. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing wrong with you, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
You're all set.
75 days. No GPS, no leniency. The judge had already given her a chance, and she walked away from it. A child was the victim. Probation was violated, and excuses ran out. So here's the question. When someone abuses a child, disappears from probation, and lies to a judge, how much mercy is too much? Do you think the judge was right, or did the defendant waste her final chance? Comment below, hit like, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns.